Your great-great-grandparents were absolute bastards, morally questionable at best, but functionally unstoppable. They looked at the entire planet and went, yeah, we'll have that. Built railways across continents they didn't own, drained swamps in countries they had no business being in, extracted wealth from India and Sri Lanka and dozens of other places, turned it into sewers, stations, and an empire the sun never set on. Now, look at us. Can't build a railway from London to Birmingham without it taking nearly 2 decades. Can't process a visa application in under 6 months. Can't even count how many people are in the bloody country. Lost track of over 700,000 visa overstayers. The Home Office admits they have no idea where most of them are. They conquered a quarter of the world. We struggle to conquer the queue at the post office. Here's the uncomfortable question. What if the Victorians, the colonizers, the empire builders, the morally dodgy granddads of modern Britain were just better at getting things done than we are? Not better people, better builders. We inherited everything they built, the infrastructure, the wealth, the systems, and we're managing to f it all up while losing control of our borders, our services, and our sense of who we even are. This isn't nostalgia. This is about why a generation that conquered the world can't solve its own problems, and why that failure is breaking Britain. Let me be crystal clear. I'm not defending the British Empire. It was exploitative. But here's what's also true. The Victorians didn't just exploit, they built, with resources they took from places like India and Sri Lanka. One example, the Indian railways. By 1900, Britain had built over 25,000 miles of railway track across India, the largest railway network in Asia, built with Indian money, Indian labor, and British engineering. Was it for India's benefit? Partially. Mainly to move cotton, tea, spices, and troops, to extract wealth faster, control the country more efficiently. But they built it. Wasn't theoretical, wasn't a consultation. Steel and steam and sweat, it worked. Now in 2026, Britain is still struggling with HS2. One railway line, 330 miles. Been planning it since 2009. Massively over budget. Years behind schedule. Northern sections scrapped entirely. Latest estimates put completion of even the reduced route into the 2030s. The Victorians built an entire subcontinent's railway network in less time than it's taken us to lay track from London to Manchester. What happened? How did the descendants of empire builders become people who can't build a fucking railway? The man who saved London, Joseph Bazalgette, the Great Stink. The Thames is literally a river of shit. Cholera's killing thousands. Parliament's shutting down because MPs are gagging on the smell. Bazalgette's solution? Build the most ambitious sewer system the world had ever seen. 1,300 miles of tunnels, 318 million bricks, pumping stations that looked like cathedrals. Didn't ask permission from every resident of London. Didn't run a focus group, just did it. It worked. Those sewers are still in use today. He ended cholera in London, gave the city a foundation to grow into the capital of an empire. But where did the money come from? India, Ceylon, the Caribbean. The empire was a cash machine. Bazalgette's sewers were built in part with the profits of colonial extraction, the tea plantations of Sri Lanka, the cotton mills of India, the rubber of Malaya. That wealth flowed into London. London turned it into infrastructure. Not saying that makes it right. It doesn't, but it makes it effective. They took resources brutally and built things that lasted. Compare that to us, no empire anymore. Have foreign aid budgets, international partnerships, and strongly worded statements. What are we building? Nothing. Can't even maintain what they left us. The sewers Bazalgette built are overflowing, added millions of people to London, haven't bothered to upgrade the system. We inherited a country built on the back of empire, running it into the ground. Here's the modern equivalent of the Great Stink, not the Thames. Our immigration system. No idea how many people are in this country. Don't know who's here legally, who's here illegally, who's overstayed. Numbers from 2025 that should terrify you. The Home Office estimates between 600,000 and 1.2 million illegal immigrants in the UK. But here's the thing. They're guessing. We literally don't know. The exit check system that was supposed to track who leaves the country still doesn't work properly. Years of implementation. In 2025 alone, small boat arrivals continued. Billions spent on deterrence. The Rwanda scheme collapsed. the asylum backlog hit record levels. Over 170,000 cases waiting for initial decisions. Some people waiting 3, 4, 5 years for their cases to be heard. Gets worse. The visa overstayer problem? The government admits they've lost track of over 700,000 people who came here legally and never left. They're somewhere in Britain, working, using services. We have no clue where they are. The system that's supposed to track people coming in and out is, quote the Home Office, not fit for purpose. We're a country that once governed 400 million people across the globe. Can't even count the people living within our own borders. The Victorians tracked every shipment of tea from Ceylon to London, every bolt of cotton from India, every ounce of rubber from Malaya. They knew what was coming in and what was going out, built systems that worked. We can't track humans crossing our own border. Bazalgette would be spinning in his grave. Let me take you to Sri Lanka, or as the Victorians called it, Ceylon. In the 1860s, British planters turned the highlands of Ceylon into one giant tea plantation. They cleared forests. They brought in Tamil workers from India. They built railways to move the tea to Colombo, then shipped it back to Britain. By 1900, Ceylon was producing 100 million pounds of tea a year. That tea funded the expansion of British ports, British schools, British hospitals. The Victorians looked at a foreign country and thought, we can extract value from this and build something at home. Again, morally dodgy. Absolutely. But functionally, it worked. Now let's look at modern Britain. We've got 7.5 million people on NHS waiting lists as of early 2026. Our schools are crumbling, literally. The concrete's falling apart, and hundreds of schools are still dealing with our concrete issues. Our infrastructure is ranked 11th in Europe, behind Spain, behind Portugal. And our response? We need more funding. We need more consultation. We need a review. The Victorians didn't wait for reviews. They took what they needed and built what they wanted. We can't even build what we need with the resources we already have. We've gone from empire builders to form fillers, from colonizers to consultants. So what happened? How did we go from the people who ruled half the world to the people who can't rule their own country? It's a psychological collapse. The Victorians had a very simple worldview. We are superior and we will impose our will on the world. Was that worldview racist? Yes. Was it arrogant? Absolutely. But it was also decisive. They didn't second-guess themselves. They didn't apologize. They acted. Our generation? We've swung completely the other way. We're so terrified of being called racist, so paralyzed by guilt over the empire, that we've lost the ability to make hard decisions about our own country. We can't control our borders because we're afraid of being called xenophobic. We can't deport illegal immigrants efficiently because we're worried about the optics. In 2025, the UK deported fewer than 15,000 people who had no right to be here. 15,000 out of potentially 1 million illegal residents. We can't even have an honest conversation about immigration numbers without someone screaming fascist and shutting it down. Look at the small boats crisis. Every summer, it's the same headlines. Every winter, the same outrage. And what changes? Nothing. Because actually solving it, securing the border, processing claims rapidly, removing people quickly, would require the kind of ruthless competence the Victorians had. And we don't have that anymore. The Victorians' confidence was toxic. But our lack of confidence is pathetic. They built empires. We build hashtags. They had Bazalgette. We have Zoom calls. They drain swamps. We attend workshops on drainage equity. We've replaced their ruthless competence with our performative compassion. And the country is drowning because of it. Want to know the most embarrassing part of all this? India, the country we colonized, exploited, and left in 1947, is now outbuilding us. India is building metro systems into 27 cities simultaneously. They've landed on the moon's south pole. They've got a digital ID system, Aadhaar, that works for 1.4 billion people. Britain, we can't build a railway. We can't digitize the NHS. We can't even issue passports on time. The Victorians built India's infrastructure to extract wealth. Modern India took that foundation and built on it. They looked at what we left behind and said, right, let's do better. We looked at what the Victorians left us, the richest, most advanced infrastructure in the world, and we've let it rot. India's got a space program. We've got potholes. India's building dozens of new airports. We've been debating a third runway at Heathrow for over 20 years, and we're still nowhere. The country we colonized has overtaken us. And it's not because they're richer. It's because they're hungrier. They've got the builder mentality we lost. We're the trust fund kids of history. We inherited everything and squandered it. So here's the uncomfortable truth. We need to learn from the Victorians. Not their morality, not their imperialism, but their mindset. They saw a problem and they solved it. Permanently. We see a problem and we tweet about it. If Bazalgette were alive today and you told him we don't know how many people are in the country, he'd call us lazy. And he'd be right. Here's what a modern Bazalgette would do about immigration. Build a digital border system. Biometrics, real-time tracking, e-gates that actually work. Know who's in, who's out, who's overstayed. Australia does this. Singapore does this. We should be able to do this. Link the data. Home Office, HMRC, NHS, DWP. No more silos. If you're working, paying taxes, using services, we know exactly who you are and whether you have the right to be here. Process claims rapidly. The asylum backlog is a disgrace. 6 months maximum for an initial decision. Have enough judges. Have enough caseworkers. The Victorians wouldn't tolerate a 3-year waiting list. Neither should we. Enforce the law. If you're here illegally, you're removed. Promptly. Not cruelty. Competence. The Victorians deported people who broke the law. We pretend they don't exist and hope they go away. Build the infrastructure for the population you have. You can't add millions of people and not build new houses, hospitals, schools, sewers. That's insane. The Victorians planned for growth. We just react to crisis. The Victorians built ruthlessly. We need to build responsibly, but we need to build. We can't keep coasting on what they left us. The sewers are overflowing. The railways are crumbling. The system is broken. And it's broken because we're too lazy, too scared, and too distracted to fix it. There's a ghost haunting Britain. It's not the ghost of empire, it's the ghost of competence. The Victorians built this country with blood, sweat, and stolen wealth. They were bastards, but they were builders. We inherited their country, and we've done all with it. They built railways across India. We can't build one across England. They drained swamps in Africa. We can't drain the swamp in Westminster. They governed 400 million people. We can't even count 67 million. They knew where every shipment of tea was, from Ceylon to London. We don't know where 700,000 visa overstayers are. So here's their question, echoing through every tunnel, every brick, every mile of track they left us. What did you build? And our answer? Nothing. We need to change that, or we'll be the first generation in British history to leave the country worse than we found it. If this made you uncomfortable, good. Good. That's the point. Subscribe to the channel, because we're going to keep asking the questions no one wants to answer. And if you've got an idea, an argument, or a better answer than nothing, leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching.